Hello, and welcome to the Cedar Key Oyster Management game. If you already know how to play, go ahead and close this video to get started. In this game, you're tasked with managing the Cedar Key oyster fishery for 50 years. To help you do this, maps have been provided which can give you information about the fishery. You can find your map in the center of the screen. Here, you can see Cedar Key and the surrounding area. The colored plots marked on the grid show the approximate location of oysters in the Cedar Key fishery. Using the drop-down menu in the sidebar on the left, you can select between a variety of maps. The first map that you'll see on screen is the population map. This map shows the population of living oysters in each section of the reef, as a percentage of the total number of oysters that could fit in that area. You can think of this as an overall measure of reef health. Holding the cursor over a section on this map will show the reef health for that specific spot. The next map we have available is the no-take map. Like the population map, holding the cursor over a specific section on this map will show the reef health for that section. This map also shows which areas of the oyster reef are closed to oyster harvesting. By default, all areas of the reef are open at the start of the game. If you would like to close a section of the reef, simply click on that section on the grid, and you will see that section turn black. That grid section is now designated an oyster sanctuary and will not be harvested. You may close as many areas as you wish, or keep them all open. The decision is yours. Oyster sanctuaries can also be seen on the other maps. Our final map is the shell restoration map. Using this map, we can see the amount of shell from both living and dead oysters present in each section of the oyster reef. Like the population map, this number is shown as a percentage. Knowing how much shell is available in each section will give you an idea of how easily oyster populations in that section will recover, and how resilient they will be to future harvest. Holding the cursor over a section on the shell restoration map now shows the percentage of shell available in that section. Like the no-take map, the shell restoration map also allows you to click on sections of the grid. Doing so will cause that section of the grid to turn white. White areas on the shell restoration map are marked for shell restoration. This means that hard material, like shell, concrete, or limestone, will be added to this area when you click Update. Now that you've explored all the maps, you're almost finished setting your management strategy. The last thing that you will need to do is set the options in the sidebar on the left. Here you can set the number of months out of the year that the fishery will be open, the maximum number of sacks of oysters that can be harvested in one day, and the minimum size of an oyster that is legal to harvest. You will also set a limit for the number of commercial oystermen allowed to work in the Cedar Key oyster fishery in a single year. Once you have finished setting these options, click on the Update button. This will advance the game forward by 1 year. The population and shell restoration maps will update accordingly. You will also see boats appear that are visible on all of the maps. These boats show which areas of the fishery are harvested most frequently by oystermen. You may want to take this information into account when developing your management strategy moving forward. To give you an idea of how well your management strategy is working, the game will give you a score following each turn. This score is determined by how healthy each section of the reef is, and by how many oysters are caught in the Cedar Key oyster fishery as a whole. Having a healthier reef will increase your score, but so will catching more oysters. It's your job to balance both of these needs. The game also shows you the total number of points that you have earned since the beginning of the game. Once 50 turns have passed, this will be your final score. You can see the number of turns remaining right below these scores. Finally, by scrolling to the bottom of the page, you can see the average reef health of each section of the reef, as well as the number of oysters that a typical oysterman harvests under your management plan. At this point, you can choose to change any of the management policies you wish. Remember that you can alter no-take zones and shell restoration zones, as well as all of the options in the sidebar on the left. Once you have finished changing any of the management options you wish to adjust, click Update again. This will advance the game forward 1 more year. Once you have played at least 2 turns, you will see a graph appear, which marks your score for each turn of the game. This allows you to keep track of how well you've done over time. Continue to play out the rest of the game, making adjustments as you see fit. Remember that each time you click Update, the game will advance forward by 1 year. The game will automatically end after 50 years. Your goal is to maximize your cumulative score after 50 years have been played. Good luck, and enjoy your role as manager of the Cedar Key oyster fishery.